Okay, so some more talk about Calvin Sheppard possibly no longer being with the Detroit Lions after this season. What really sparked this debate? I didn't even know this happened. So once again, rest in peace to Nick Mangle. I know he was an Ohio State guy, but 41, that's very, very young. So rest in peace to him. I didn't really know nothing going on Sunday. I went to church and then took a nap. So I didn't really see you know how you sleep, but you kind of see stuff, kind of hear it on the TV. So I didn't know. I just seen on Twitter that Rex was, I was like, damn, you look like, damn, 41. That's young. I don't talk about deaths on YouTube no more, but that's young. That's young. That's young. Very young. But prayers out to his family and stuff, but that's young. That's so young. And I didn't know until Monday morning, I think, or Sunday night, Brian Kelly got fired. And people think they got something to do with Bryce Underwood. If he would have been there, I think Texas A&M. The one team I do watch, even more than Michigan. Two teams Ole Miss is a team I watch just as much as Michigan. Don't ask why. I don't know. Every time I got a little bit of time and I'm just sitting there chilling, is Ole Miss on, or I watch a lot of LSU football games. None of that's by design, other than Michigan. So I didn't see Michigan State. I went to see Black Phone too, so I didn't get to catch it. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch that, so I couldn't talk on it. But Ole Miss quarterback went to Fair State, so that's a shout out to him. And I seen Texas A&M, they beat the dog walking shit out of LSU. Their quarterback had 150 rushing, but nonetheless, Brian Kelly got fired. His buyout is $54 million. Apparently, right now they working on the buyout. So, and one thing about it, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get into the Sheppard thing. When one bad thing happened to you, or a good thing, we're gonna focus on the bad thing. They dig up all this shit about you. When you get fired, there was a story where a kid got injured at LSU, and it was like, well, Brian Kelly never reached out to me again, and they do the smear campaign. You notice it in Hollywood. A lot of them people in Hollywood underwent the ritual, and then when they get tired of being up under the powers that be, they want to do their own thing. Then, they got to smear your name. So you hear all these things. Oh, he did this to me, or she did that to me. It's like, So apparently we know Calvin Sheppard. If you didn't know, now you know. He went to LSU. So they're talking about possibly he can take the LSU job. Now he won't be around long after the Tampa Bay game. My thing is this: the only thing about it is that's holding him back is his aesthetics, the dreadlocks, the tattoos. That's always been talked about. I think it was Rex Ryan's brother. He had long hair, and I always bring this up. He refused to cut it, so they didn't allow him to get a head coaching job. He only could be a defensive coordinator, and you dealing with a lot of those owners that's baby boomers now, and before the baby boomers, some of them. So, if you remember the Titans, remember they were talking about when Sunshine came on the team, he had to cut his hair. So, the whole hair thing amongst men, I know in the black community, it's this thing about, dreadlocks. It was a thing in Texas where they suspended them from having hair. But not everything is a racial thing, Justin Herbert cut his hair. Now he in commercials. You would think Trevor Lawrence would be in more commercials, but he refused to cut his hair. Everybody hasn't warmed up to the idea of men having hair, or boys, or tattoos. Me personally, I'm not a fan of tattoos, especially for, people who have them in visible areas, because that's going to stop you from getting in certain rooms. Y'all don't think about it. Y'all get these tattoos on your face and your neck, and then y'all cry about how they wouldn't hire me. You know what I'm saying? You get tattoos on your arms, your hands, all this type of stuff, And a lot of times that's what separates you from getting a job, or separates you from not getting an opportunity. Or sometimes your personality really got to shine over it. So that's why, to me, you always want to keep a clean cut image, because you never know. You could be the president, you could be a doctor, and we all know you can't always judge a book by its cover, but we know how these old heads is, right? But that's the only thing that's stopping them. But in college, he could be more relatable. He can, obviously, I don't think he have trouble recruiting, The question is, do you want to put that much work in? College is different than the pros. College head coaches is more work than the pros because you're the recruiter. You got to meet with the alumni for the budget. You got to, to get donations. You're the recruiter. You got to recruit year round. Then you're responsible for how many people? Over 100. I'm just guesstimate over 100 people. Coaches you're responsible for. Players you're responsible for. Towel boys you're responsible for. When those players leave that locker room, you're their daddy. You're responsible for them. When they go out there and have a mischief, it comes back on you. So college is a stressful job. Obviously, the easy part is they're young men, and you're helping mold them into young men so they still have the respect factor when you go into the NFL locker room. They look at you as an equal, so you have to establish that respect in the locker room. So, honestly, the LSU job could be appealing. I think Texas A&M tried to reach out and get Dan Campbell. Seemed like they did a great job with their head coach that they got so far. But ultimately, it's just so much work in college. But I think if he gets an opportunity, it may be more with college than professional because of his image. But also on top of that, for him, some of these younger owners that's coming into the league, Shad Khan, the owner for the Colts, or the lady that keeps taking on notes, shout out to her. And people laughing at that lady. I'm gonna talk about her on my other channel and do a short. They laughing at her, but guess what? So many people, they might hear something or buy something, and the painter guy, what's his name, Bob Ross, watch his documentary on Netflix. It ain't the most exciting thing in the world, but he never learned the business end of it. He just, did the product, painted the TV shows, and the people who knew the business end fucked him. They fucked him raw. So you always must learn your business. You got to start somewhere. And the hardest thing about, a lot of y'all sitting here with 9 to 5, talking about what's the way out. The best thing to do is to find something, start it. Just start it. Start researching it. Start figuring out what I need to do. Oh, I get my credit to do this. I got to get this, that, and the third. This camera, that. I got to get this, that, and the third. I got to get this notary. I got to get this. Start figuring that out. Just start. Just start. Buy one, get one piece of information. All right, read it all. Okay, I need this equipment, that equipment. I need this, that. And you start, that's how you do it. You learn. If you don't never learn it, how are you going to know how you operate it? So many people can just be getting over on you because you never asked questions. You never learned it. You might have a $1 billion idea. Take the fact, if you never seen the movie Social Network or The Founder with Michael Keaton, and Social Network with Jesse Eisenberg, which that dude from Black Phone remind me of Jesse Eisenberg fan. Those are great movies to watch with your children or watch with your people, because if you don't know how something 100% operates, you're going to get fucked. But for Shep, I think it'll be college more than pro right now, or with a younger owner. But we'll see, man. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Hit the link tree. You can find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Everything is out the link tree. Peace.